Good morning, everybody. It's Ray again, and I had a sleepless night, and so I thought I'd get up and do something productive today because after 5 days, I am still super excited um, about the tea talk that I went to on Sunday, and I wanted to share a little more about what happened in that meeting. Um, First of all, and I hope the people that organized that meeting, the panel members, and everybody don't mind that I give some props to them for inspiring me, for putting, fire in my blood, and uh, I see people joining this feed. Most people are at work right now or going to work on their way to. But I just had to share some more about the awesomeness of that meeting held at the Baptist Church in Atlanta. Let me see what it says. Invite. I'm not sure what I'm seeing here. Says join, and then it says invite. And what does that mean? Do I have to ready? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing here, folks. I'm a computer genius, but I'm a cell phone. Oh, that's what it did. It pulled somebody in here. Sorry, didn't mean for that to happen. Anyway, I'm not going to answer any questions in this live feed. But what I wanted to say about that panel and why I was so moved and so inspired was that uh, the panel members that I mentioned in the video I made, the live feed I made on Sunday, check this out. The first one was one of the transgender pastors from that group. The second lady sitting next to him was a transgender woman who is also a pastor or a minister of some church that she uh, uh, ministers at. The third person that was sitting next to her was a intersex doctor, okay? And the one sitting next to him was the wife of the trans male pastor, and she was also a pastor. And there was another woman that was brought up on the stage later, but I didn't really get who she was. And I'm sorry, I don't know what these invites mean, but I'm just going to leave them alone for now. Um, so there was a lot of, to me, power coming from the front of that room. And I'm going to tell you quite frankly, I am the type of person, I'm the type of guy that not much impresses me, but that impressed me, and I felt the energy coming from the people in the front of that room. Um, Very powerful, very impactful, and it inspired conversation amongst the people in the crowd when they opened it up for questions. Um, so there was that, and I think Nick Coleman put that together. He can verify that in this live feed when he sees it. I'm definitely gonna try to tag him after I'm finished with the feed. Um, so the first thing that got talked about, because one of the pastors actually knew a person, knew one of the black trans women that was murdered in Louisiana. And when she told that story, I was just astounded because apparently that, and I'm not going to mention the woman who did get killed, but apparently she was dating and having relations with a gay man. a gay black male who wasn't comfortable with seeing that trans woman, that lady, in the day, but was having sex with her at night. In other words, it was just like he was using her as a fetish, and he didn't want any of his people and other gay community to know that he was having relations with a trans woman, and something went down between them, and he murdered her. So this is what prompted me to say all of the things that I said about the LGBTQIA needing to come together. Because if we don't, those kinds of things, people are doing things on the down low. They're being with trans men and trans women on the down low. And that is just unacceptable to me. I'm trying to read who is in this live feed. So, so there was that, and it touched everybody because we were all pretty. When one of our trans brothers or trans sisters gets violently or brutally killed in this country, it touches us all. And I feel the exact same way when this happens to Black people in this country. I am just as enraged. So we've got kind of a double whammy going on with being people of color and transgender in this country. Oh, and well, I told you, everybody on the panel was transgender except for the cisgender pastor who was the wife of the trans man pastor. So that truly inspired me. And then as the discussion went on, oh, I forgot about the sheriff, about the gentleman, that the trans man who was new to his transition. He was also on the panel, and he's very excited to start working with the sheriff's department in DeKalb County to bring awareness and bring laws and bring methods and policies into the prison system to make it easier for any kind of prisoners or people in jail to be placed in the right location within the jail system. They had a completely different floor for people of trans experience and gave them the choice where they wanted to be placed. And if they weren't quite sure where they were, or that sheriff would get together with his upper echelon people and make a decision on where to put that individual, where their safety would be most protected. So that was really exciting, that there is a person working with the police department, which I know other organizations in Atlanta that are also trying to work with the police department, but they're working with, cisgender, heterosexual, white police officers, where we've got that man on the panel is on the inside, and he's one of us. And that's just awesome. So when I say whoever put that together found the best of the cream of the crop to serve that panel, I really meant it. And so then begin the discussion of when and when not to disclose our gender while dating or in a relationship. Well, dating, meeting potential partners or whatever. And everybody has something to say about that too, where it was pretty right on about when to disclose, when not to disclose, and putting our safety at first. I am all over the place in Atlanta, and I watch a lot of different things. And there's a whole lot of cisgender heterosexual people that are outraged, absolutely outraged, that we do not disclose on our profiles that we are transgender. And it was a Black heterosexual cisgender website that I was on where I saw this discussion. And I said something. I didn't say what I was on that site, but I said, you guys are crazy. Ain't nobody going to open themselves up to that right off the bat without you getting to know them first. There's no need to tell the entire world that you're transgender could open you up to safety issues and getting hurt. See, that can happen at any point throughout the, when meeting someone and talking to them and considering dating them. And the ones that were yelling the loudest on that site were the men, because they would meet and start talking to trans women and did not know they were trans women. But the minute they went in, trying to get sex like they usually do, dogs thinking about their penis, okay, is when that trans woman would disclose to them that she was trans, and then they would just go ballistic, threatening to, that could get her killed and whatnot. That any way you look at it, it can get us hurt and killed. So we need to be hyper vigilant about where we tell someone, where we disclose who we are, when we disclose who we are, and where we disclose who we are, as in a public place, not in anybody's home. Do not go home with somebody and decide to disclose it sitting there in their home one-on-one, because you don't know who's around. It could be pulled in to perhaps do harm to you when you disclose your gender to them. And these are just some thoughts swimming around in my head about the whole ordeal, and my thoughts that stemmed off of what I heard in that meeting. And the fact that they pulled in people that were not members of that church is why I'm extremely excited to perhaps be involved with Tea Talks itself. And I am not religious. I'm extremely spiritual, but I'm not religious. So I wasn't considering joining that church, but I'm sure enough going to lead everybody I know who is religious to that church, because I think they're on an awesome path for inclusion, for starting conversations that are tough in this country to have. And so let me switch to something else that I had a very long conversation with a trans male, and I'll let him identify himself, but I had a very long conversation with him over the phone where we talked about the problems of some marginalized race, marginalized people being happy as shit to have somebody else to marginalize. And so let me tell you what I mean by that. So the heterosexual males have snatched on to lesbian feminists. They are promoting them because they are women. And then the lesbian feminists pulled trans women into the picture to promote feminism and their cause, and but in a very kind of oppressive way, in a way that was using them, not including them, not interested in their struggles, but only interested in their feminist agenda, we'll say. So so then you have that, And through time, when they were finished with the transgender women, they pushed them aside. Okay, they had no more use for them. And so that made trans women feel some sort of way. And then now, because trans men are coming out and on the rise, those very same feminists are coming after us. But again, as you can see, is this hierarchy problem. It's a human condition to always be looking at somebody who's worse off than you and using them to promote your cause, and then when they're finished getting what they want, toss them aside. I don't know what we're going to do about humans doing that, but you know, white people do it to women, and then women do it to LGBTQ, and pieces of LGBTQIA do it to other members in that community, and it just trickles down. Bullshit trickles down. So, you know, the people at the bottom are never getting a fighting chance to get their rights supported, just like the LGBTQIA has their rights supported. But I had somebody made a video in response to the one that I made on Sunday that sounded something like me thinking that it was our fault that oppression exists, and it is not our fault, and none of us like our oppressors, okay? And why should we have to fight that sort of thing? Well, because that's the way it is worldwide. You know, people aren't going to give us anything without us barking and fighting and figuring out a way to get our rights. But I also said in that lady's post, her video, that she responded to me was this: what if 50 to 100 LGBTQIA organizations around the country got together, created a meeting, and came in from all over the country? I don't know, this is just dreaming out loud. I don't know how everybody's going to get there. You know, I'm not worried about finances. I'm just putting solutions out into the air. But what if all of these different organizations and subcultures within subcultures within subcultures got together, sat down at the table, and tried to figure out how we're going to overcome all this stuff without violence, without protesting, and without voting? I mean, this is to start a dialogue about what are we going to do? What are we going to do? You know, is it going to take the vote? Is it going to take some other intelligent way to get our rights back without having to create a stone wall, and without feeling sorry for ourselves because we're in this mess that we're in? Look, Black people have been in this mess that we're in for over 400 years. And, you know, I'm going to make another video about the bathroom bullshit that's going on and how they're attacking students. But this one primarily is to just ground in the fact that, you know, that we need to use our heads, not our emotions, about what is going on in this country. And whatever needs to happen fast, because, you know, the Trump and his administration is giving a pass-through for every state in the United States to do whatever the hell they want. There was just another bathroom law passed in Texas to, you know, mess with these students that don't have any rights. And you know what? They know that these students' parents are also going through some kind of transition about their child being transgender, and they may not be necessarily be powerful enough or courageous enough to buck the system. It needs to happen widespread. All the parents of these students that are getting bullied by the system and getting stepped on by the system need to fight for their children. But it's a bad situation because, you know, they can't do it alone. And this is happening all over the country, but in Texas, I don't know what those parents are going to do to protect their children, except except to get in the fight. And I'm not talking about a physical fist fight. I'm talking about to join in, all peoples join in to fight this bathroom Jim Crow law crap that's happening. You know where that came from? Ooh, I just melded in the bathroom stuff with the other stuff I was talking about. So I'm here. I might as well talk about it. The Jim Crow laws were created to keep black people from drinking from public fountains that white people were drinking in, and to use the bathrooms with white people. Like, if that happened, they're going to get cooties. Or, you know, whatever it is they created that law around. I'll leave that to the history buffs and the statisticians to talk about when that happened. But it was going on for black people until the mid 1960s. Okay. And then in the 70s, the powers to be, the people that are creating all this hysteria, like they always have been, and this unfounded, irrational fear that they would catch something from us if they used the bathroom with us or drank from fountains with us. They turned it around and turned it in on the gay people, the homosexual community. And same thing, they just used the same law and they put it out there for people who are uneducated or don't care, or they're racist and agree with the Jim Crow laws that were created against black people. So they turned that on to the LGBT community at the time. And, you know, after the LGBT fought back and started getting their rights and started getting, you know, the hysteria stopped about that. Look at where we are right now. They're using the same Jim Crow laws that they created for black people against transgender people. It's the same thing. They're preying on ignorant people. And there's a whole bunch of people out there that'll just believe them without thinking that putting someone like me in the women's room is going to get me chased out of there. And putting me in, you know, not letting me go into the men's room where I belong, where I'm also, you know, had a lot of fears about doing that. You know, it's just creating a mess that shouldn't be there. Transgender people don't do anything in the bathroom but pee and take a dump. Okay, that's what they do in there. There is no there has nothing has ever been proven or shown or reported on that transgender people did anything to anybody in the public bathroom except what everybody else does. So they know that adults are going to figure out a way to fight them. So what do? They attack the students. The students don't have any rights. They can't fight back. And who in the heck is going to be walking around every day with a birth certificate to prove their gender? That's another funny part of it, is how they going to implement that. Put police in the bathrooms at school and tell you and make you carry your birth certificate everywhere. None of it is rational. It's not even rational, but it's working, because if they get these laws passed in all these different states around the students, then they will come after the adults. Then they'll come after us. But we can fight. See, that's why they're going after the children first. But anyway, I didn't mean to get into the bathroom bill stuff. But again, I'm making this live feed when most people are at work and can't really interact with me on this feed, which is why I don't know why I don't do YouTube videos. But there's some dynamics going on with Facebook where anybody who is considered an advocate and a threat to employees at Facebook and have their posts reported, Facebook is kicking them off of Facebook. They're shutting down their accounts. They're making sure they can only post so many live feeds per day, so many live feeds per week. I know of a black man who, two of them, that got told, you can't make any more live feeds. You're going over some limit we just created for you. And for the other black man who is really popular in this country, um, they kicked him out, didn't let him back, and they forced him to YouTube. But let me tell you how hard it is to get views and stuff from YouTube. That's a whole different ball of wax that you have to spend hours and hours and hours setting up correctly so that the so that you can reach the number of people that you need to reach. And it's really, really, really slow going. You have to have a non-controversial topic in order to get very, very popular on YouTube, or you have to partner with somebody who has, who is, who's got hundreds of thousands of followers, subscribers, and if you jump in bed with them, then and they promote you and you promote them, then you can become more visible on YouTube. I got more visibility on that one live feed Sunday than any video I've ever put on YouTube. So that tells you a little bit about how they pigeonhole people and push them back and forth, just as long as they try to squash people who are a threat to them. Threat to who? 13,000 employees in Menlo Park, California, working for Facebook. And one of them or a group of them would get together and decide, this one is somebody to be watched. And then they'll start messing with you and creating policies that they could justify because they're a private company. And before you know it, you done got kicked off Facebook, or they're messing with you and telling you can't do live feeds. That is why I don't do a lot of live feeds, because they already were messing with me last year. And so I laid low for a while before I came out and started talking about these things. So I hope I didn't forget, the original reason why I came on here was to talk about Tea Talk, to, invite people to come and support them. It's not during the congregate, the service that they have. It's scheduled at different times than the services is having, which is what allows us to come in there and talk about issues that we couldn't normally talk about with the congregation. And they're getting together to figure out how they can take that content to the congregation in a way that doesn't threaten them, but has them open their ears and their heart to learn about us. That's what's so awesome about this church is, that pastor is the lead pastor is all about trying to figure out, with everybody's help, how to best impact and make that church completely inclusive, and with the other people in the congregation, because he's a businessman. He has to make his money. He doesn't want to lose a bunch of members behind letting transgenders into that church. But I hope I didn't say too much or step on any toes of the people that were on that panel. That's not my intent. My intent is to promote Tea Talks, because I think something real special is happening there. So anyway, I thought I'd be productive. I'm going to be burnt cookies later on because I haven't gotten any sleep and my brain wouldn't shut up about this stuff because I'm so excited about it. I don't even know how I'm going to fit into it, but somehow they're going to fit me in, and so that I can be part of the change that they want to see in the world, and the kind of change I want to see in the world from my perspective. So I hope everybody has a blessed day. Don't work too hard. I am retired, so I can keep all sorts of crazy hours. And God bless y'all. Peace.